This is Amit Sahai, and he wrote something 5 years back, which I have here on this sheet. And it was rather intriguing to me to see this, and I would really like to read it out to you. You call it ragging, but it is humiliation and should be banned. Every day students are ragged in college. They are made naked in order to do bad things. This all has brought me to this point. I can't tell it even to my parents. It is not justified, and I cannot bear it anymore. Amit committed suicide on 11th October 2005 by jumping in front of a moving train following ragging for almost an year. Ragging is something that affects you, something that affects me, and it affects 1 crore people across India aged 18 to 25 years.
Ragging was actually present in the armed forces as a team building exercise, from where it trickled down to colleges and universities around the 2 world wars. And as we see over here, in India, legislations banning ragging came as late as 2007. Now, public opinion about ragging. We share some common myths about ragging. The first one is ragging makes one bold. Boldness is saying no to what you feel is wrong. On the other hand, ragging makes you accept that exploitation mutely and non-resistively.
And it's funny when you go out and talks and you interact with people, and there are parents and teachers who say that, hey, it helps in breaking the ice. And it's funny because I get back to them and tell them that, okay, you go to a junior and ask him to strip off all his clothes. And what a way of breaking the ice that is, actually.
After the Supreme Court ban on ragging, we've read in the newspapers that colleges have taken strict action against ragging. They've really geared up against ragging. Putting up anti-ragging posters and setting up non-functional anti-ragging squads is not really the way to gear up against ragging. Colleges need to be more proactive in their approach. In most cases, what we see is that the college tries to cover up the incident so as to prevent them from potential embarrassment. And here we have some statistics collected over the last 5 years. What is pretty interesting is that in engineering colleges, 32% of ragging takes place, whereas in medical, 17% of ragging takes place. This does not go to say that engineers are born bullies. So are doctors, in a way. But this is just because of the mushrooming of engineering colleges over the last 5 years, and there are about 3 to 4 times more engineering colleges in India than medical colleges. This is a simple pie chart, but it has a lot to say about the scenario of ragging in India. Verbal ragging constitutes about 5% of the total ragging cases. However, verbal ragging in itself can be so traumatizing for the victim and can lead to mental shocks for him. Imagine what the victim will have to go through, taking into account that 62% of physical ragging and 20% of sexual ragging. In most cases, the victim is so embarrassed that he is even afraid to talk about it with his batchmates or even with his parents, because he knows that probably his parents will tell him to take it in his own stride. Now, this is the outcomes of ragging. We see the red bars are the outcomes from 2003 to 2007, and the green in 2007 to 2008. There has been a sharp rise in the number of deaths and suicide attempts as you can see from the green bars in 2007 to 2008. Now, this is not because the number of cases have increased. This is just because media focusing more attention on ragging, whereas earlier it never used to give coverage to ragging events at all. It has come in light of the recent deaths due to ragging. What we also see is that the percentage of people leaving college is pretty low. And the reason for that is pretty obvious. In a situation, one is so helpless. One does not know whom to approach. And in a country as ours, where peer pressure and competition plays so much of a role in influencing what we do, how do you expect people to leave college and face the wrath of their parents and the society? Yeah.
This is Akhil, and he is going to give you an introduction as to how bad ragging can get to a person. Can you just click on it?
Ragging Menace. This first-year student at Coimbator's prestigious PSG College of Arts and Science has possibly been rendered partially blind after he was allegedly manhandled by 5 of his seniors. Akhil says he was punched in the eye, hit with a steel chair and stairs because he refused to pay them 3,000 rupees.
They came to my room around by 11 o'clock. They told me to undress and then asked me to lick their shoes. When I was about to lick their shoes, when I bent down, they started hitting me They asked for more money. They asked for 3,000 rupees.
However, they are yet to be arrested. Doctors say the retina in Akhil's eye has been punctured in 8 places, and he could lose his vision completely by the time he is 25.
നീതിയാണ് ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് വേണ്ടത്.
I couldn't recognize him when he came home. His face was swollen. His eyes were nearly bleeding. We took him to the hospital.
Although the incident occurred over a month ago, Akhil could lodge a police complaint only on Friday. The 5 accused are now under police custody to investigate the case. They are likely to visit Kerala soon to take Akhil's statement.
Through all this torture silently, and it happens for months, it continues for years in many of these medical colleges. And what does it reflect? It actually reflects the failure of our society to accept ragging as a social evil. We don't want to talk about it, we want to ignore it, we just want to overlook it. And why I am here talking about this is because I want to request you to open up your minds and also your hearts to this issue of ragging. I want you to at least go out with your friends. You might have friends studying in various colleges across India. Just go to 2 of them and tell them that ragging is bad. Rag. It is uncool to rag. There are 89 deaths that have taken place in 2007-2008. And you know what? Many of these cases don't get reported. So it's a very humble request to go out and talk to your friends about it and start accepting ragging as a problem, as an issue in the society. And it is a small quote by Martin Luther King Jr. that I really like. It says that some enforceable obligations are beyond the reach of the laws of society. Such obligations are met by one's commitment to an inner law written on the heart. I believe that inner law written on the heart is actually our conscience. And many a times, our conscience gives us that call, but we don't answer it. We ignore it. I request you to answer your call of conscience. Thank you.